Heydarov from Azerbaijan. I think that's tatami 4. Yes.
Mat number 4 then, Heydarov coming out, and Orizhov, his teammate, already out. First round.
Yep.
Interesting that they're both in the mix now at 73 kilograms. Heydarov said never again is he going to go up to 81 kilos.
No, he tried, of course. He tried to go to the Olympics in Tokyo. Of course, the #1 Orizhov. They battled a few years, and it was clear that Orizhov was the #1 pick for their country. So he changed category till 81 to try to get enough points to get to the Olympics. But you could see that in this category, he well, it was not only the strength, he's also not tall enough, especially because his judo is, well, sometimes overhand grips, things like that. And well, he just lacked, well, all his stronger points in 73. Well, they were gone in 81s.
I think sometimes, especially, I don't think it would have suited me either at 81 kilograms, taller and rangier judo, but it's just sometimes the judo doesn't adapt, does it? And I think you're right here. His style of judo certainly didn't lend itself to 81.
Well, I saw it last week with Sherazadishvili from Spain, one of the absolutely top fighters in the 90 kilos. Well, he now changed to 100, but in 90s, because he is quite tall, he has the overhand grip, he loves to do the uchimata and the big hip throws. That will take some time for him to adapt in this new category, because his opponents are a little bit bigger now as well.
It didn't have the same effect, obviously.
No.
It's interesting, because I missed that first round match. That was against the Mongolian, wasn't it?
Yes, and well, there was a lot of discussion afterwards, because maybe he scored a Wazari, maybe there were some penalties, but in the end you could see, like, if he would have won it or lose it, that's not the most important thing. And the most important thing for me was to see that his specialties and his strengths normally in the 90s, that it will be difficult for him to bring the same things on the tatami in the
10 kilos
100s.
more as well.
10
It's
kilos
a lot,
more.
isn't it?
That will also take some time. I don't know how much kilos he had to lose to get to 90 kilos. But especially, sometimes you see a 90 kilo guy fighting in the 100s and he's doing really well from the beginning. But then most of them are shoulder throwers. You know, when they have good shoulder throws.
Not coming high over.
No,
yeah.
no,
it's interesting.
But we will see him later on, tomorrow, because he said, I have to go to all these competitions, because in 90s I'm really high ranked, but in the 100s, of course, I'm not. And I want to have a seeded
and he went out
place.
first round last week, yeah, of
so
course.
not some, no points. And we all know the ranking, how important it is to be seeded.
Well, so important. I mean, just look at the Olympic Games. Teddy Riner coming into an Olympic Games unseeded. Just went in there as a wild card at the Olympics. Sure, it didn't help. Guess that's the chance you have to take.
Ranking, how important. And I want to have a seeded
and he went out
place.
First round last week, yeah, of course.
So not some, no points. And we all know the ranking, how important it is to be seeded.
Well, so important. I mean, just look at the Olympic Games. Teddy Riner coming into an Olympic Games unseeded. Just went in there as a wild card at the Olympics. Sure, it didn't help. Guess that's the chance you have to take if you think you can beat everybody, but you still got to get to the Olympics, of course.
Yeah, that's something people say who are not on the tatami. They say, yeah, if you want to be the champion, you have to win against everybody. But that's not true. You don't have to win against everybody. No, we saw last week Fonseca winning the Grand Prix in his own country. Good score here by Heydarov.
Yeah, good Wazari. Kouchi there, just drew it in.
And Fonseca, he was in the same block with Sherazadishvili, so everybody was waiting for this fight to happen, and eventually it did not happen. And that's what...
Well, like you said, though, you know, you don't have to win every match against everybody.
No.
And we don't want to, do we? We want, you know,
No.
obviously, when it comes down to medal matches, then, you know, the important ones, we've got to beat the important people. Now then, that's a counter. Oh, now, that's a great counter there. He made a mistake. We'll have to have a look to see if he used his back on the tatami for this counter. Have a look at this. Did he get rotation? Yes, he did.
Ippon scored.
Yeah, Ippon scored for me as well. Let's have another look at, how he rotates. Does he get full rotation without using the tatami? And for me, he did. Referee was right on it. Now then, what happens? Ippon given. Heydarov made a mistake. Both the Azeri fighters then are out.
Well, this is a real... Well, that's a shock. It was quite clear that Heydarov was controlling the fight.
Wow. So we're going to stay on this mat then because Hashimoto almost